Plymouth Central Park is known as the city's green lung. And as Nick Baker found out, it certainly breathed new life into one of the park's allotment holders when he discovered there was more to his plot than just growing veg.
Since he retired, Bill Adams has spent a lot of time on his allotment. But he's not always tending his veg. A year ago, Bill picked up a camcorder at a car boot sale, and since then he's been far too busy filming wildlife to get much gardening done. And he's got some cracking stuff. Bill's allotment is just a stone's throw from the city centre, but it feels like it's a million miles away.
It's just beautiful.
He's created his own little patch of paradise, including his handmade garden shed.
Welcome to Fort Knox.
That's not going anywhere. Look at that. And look at the alarm. Look, this is security conscious. This is an alarm on, hidden camera. Thanks for your picture. Oh, look at that. It's like a little hide now.
It's a bit on the heavy side.
Part the coffee cups.
Yes, I serve the coffee from this side.
Yeah, I could say it's like a little refreshments kiosk.
If it's
See
really,
anyone?
if it's really bitterly cold,
Double glazing. You are kidding me. Ooh.
yeah, don't worry about that.
We've got to move in here. It's got everything you need for a garden shed. Binoculars, it says wildlife to me. Look, homemade caps, look, made out of bottle caps. Isn't that brilliant?
The allotment officer calls me Steptoe.
I know, and I can see exactly why. I'm totally with him on that. But brilliant. Of course, we didn't come here to see your shed, we came here to see your wildlife, so I guess we better get on with that rather
we'll
than
see
messing
what we can
around
do
with
about it.
probably the best shed I've ever seen.
Over the past 12 months, Bill's filmed a whole host of allotment visitors, including 33 different species of birds, as well as countless bugs, butterflies, bees, and even small mammals.
We're right here in your allotment, and it's clearly not just about gardening for you, is it?
No, it's the wildlife and the ecology of it all. It's just a beautiful place to be.
How long have you had this allotment?
I've been 22 years
Wow.
in this main
So you know
field.
it pretty intimately then?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
And every inch of the park.
Wow. What's your best moment? What's the thing that you cherish the most?
I think it was last February, but suddenly this wood mouse popped out, picked up a seed, went back to the entrance of its hole and was munching away. That to me was incredible. I was just over the moon about it.
Of course, it's not just wildlife that needs the park. People use it too.
And if you're city folk, parks are really important places. A bit of open space to play frisbee, walk the dog, or simply lie on the grass in the sun. But what might come as a bit of a surprise to you is they're not quite as well protected as you might like them to be.
And you don't have to look very far to see there's change afoot in the park. Building work started on a new sports centre. Argyle football stadium's been expanded, and some of the allotments will be removed. Of course, lots of people in Plymouth are going to enjoy these new developments and support the transformation of the park. But there are some who think our green spaces need protecting. They're the small but mighty Friends of Central Park.
This has been green since the Doomsday Book. So we've got a historical area here that you cannot replace. Can you imagine that they would put any of this kind of development on New York Central Park? I don't think so.
It's always difficult to balance the needs of people against wildlife, but if the wildlife Bill's been filming is anything to go by, our green spaces really are important habitats. Now, it's about time I saw some more of it, so Bill's brought me to his house to have a look at the highlights. And there's a gem from the start. the stunning jay.
Yeah, a bit of wild Plymouth right there. Look. That's great. Another favourite of mine.
Now, even though the jay is quite a common bird, very few of us get to see him this close. Look at that blue, stunning. It's not a colour you'd expect in urban Plymouth, is it? Beautiful, and a youngster as well.
Wow, look at that. That's a proper display, so we get a bit of behaviour now as well. That's a real sort of agitated jay.
The distinctive call of a nuthatch, and there it is. It's quite a common bird, but we tend to pass by them without noticing them. But they've got this really neat bit of behaviour. Just like many of our more familiar birds, like blue tits and grey tits, they will nest in cavities, such as holes in trees. But if that entrance hole is just a little bit big or it's a bit drafty, the nuthatch will customise it with mud, which is exactly what this bird's doing here.
That's quite a feat of engineering for a little bird like that.
Oh, look at that! That's fantastic! So that's the same bird later on in the season?
Yes.
Oh, that is brilliant. You see, this is what I love. Is it's common bird. And he took a fecal pellet out there as well, so the youngsters, you know, when they defecate, they defecate into a nice little carrying case, effectively. Yeah, the thing gets carried off. So you got that.
But I absolutely love them. They're so frenetic.
It's not just the big and the obvious. Bill's also bothered to film the tiny things that most of us will kind of take for granted. We've got ants here, and they're milking aphids for their honeydew. Look at that for a bit of behaviour. Bill's done an amazing job of recording the flora and fauna we've got here. And he thinks that this wildlife is something we should all enjoy.
Come into the parks and appreciate them, especially Central Park. It needs your help. It needs the general public's help. But it's easy to come in and listen, watch. Even the smells. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Our green spaces will always be under pressure, but as long as there are passionate people like Bill, our city wildlife stands a fighting chance.
And that's all from this week's Inside Out, but we're back next Monday with more stories from where you live. See you then.